All right, you want to know how to network with powerful people, millionaires, billionaires, celebrities, whoever it might be. I thought I'd record a little video. That's one of the most common questions I get. So I just set up here in my backyard. Very sunny day, so hopefully if you see me sweating, I hope I won't sweat too much. But, I call it creating your inner circle. Everybody needs an inner circle that's trying to do something big in life. And one time, I recorded a video, I don't know if you've seen it. It's this long list of the inner circle that people created. Like Steve Jobs had one, Bill Gates had one, Mahatma Gandhi had one, Martin Luther King Jr. had one. Basically, if you look at the very few people who changed the world. I was reading Peter Diamandis' book today for the book of the day. It's called Bold. And he says, only 99.999999% of the world is working on something that's not, a game changer. So if you want to be different and be a game changer in terms of making a hell of a lot more money, some of you are starting a charity, being artists, starting a new entrepreneurial venture, you must know how to create this inner circle. You have to know how to network with powerful people. And it's something, I've tried everything. I've experimented, some of you have seen the good results of some of the experimentations I've done. If you follow me on Instagram recently, you've seen me with Arnold Schwarzenegger, me with Elon Musk, me with the other day I was hanging out with Dwight Schrute, Rainn Wilson. Dwight Schrute, that's his character he plays in The Office. All these people, and I don't like to name drop. That's not the point of what I'm saying. The point is these people, if you do it right, can become part of your inner circle. Now, what's the difference between mentors and inner circle? Mentors like one person. If you put a whole bunch of mentors together, if you put a whole bunch of people who are your allies, your board of advisors, that's what I call the inner circle. And it's simple. I'm going to give you the simple formula, but it's simply elegant what you have to do. So I'll give you a few tips. I'm actually going to do a longer talk. I'm trying to keep these videos and talks around 18 minutes because you've maybe seen my TEDx talk. TEDx says, the ideal attention span for a human is 18 minutes. By the way, that's one of the tips to networking. Sometimes if you want to network with millionaires, billionaires, and powerful people, you can't be too long-winded. You can be long-winded at certain times, but at the initial stage, you have to pique interest very fast. So I'm going to write a few things here. And by the way, that was kind of one of them. So, all right, so the first thing here that I would say you have to have, there's a lot of different names for them. People call them elevators, pitches. People you hear in Silicon Valley, it's a pitch deck and a one-line. I've called them different things, one-line, a destiny hook, a one-line explanation. What I tend to call it now is an interruption hook. So, sorry, here, my handwriting's not good. So, an interruption hook. So, if you want to network with powerful people, remember this. Like, I'll give you an example from recently. I was with Arnold Schwarzenegger, got to hang out with him. You got to use an interruption hook on him. Why? Because everybody wants Arnold Schwarzenegger's attention. When I was with Elon Musk, same thing. Those people are hard to talk to. Elon Musk is, has $13 billion. He's not going to talk to anybody that he doesn't have to. In fact, this is my house in Beverly Hills. If you notice how all these houses are built in Beverly Hills, okay, walls all the way around them. This is 1 acre in Beverly Hills. It's a big house. The people who built this house before I, got it, they wanted separation creation. That's what these walls are. There's 56 doors in this house. There's gates. That's all separating themselves because most people, okay, if you don't use an interruption hook on them, they know everybody wants something from them. Celebrities, everybody wants something from them. So this wall gets created, and when I was sleeping on a couch and I had no money, I had $47 in my bank account, didn't have a car, college degree, all that stuff, I was over here. And I wanted to get access. Everybody wants people to invest in them, people to give them advice, people to make connections and go, oh, meet my lawyer friend. Oh, meet the guy who invested in me. That's the kind of access that you and I want when we're over here. And so this wall, though, this interruption, you can also think of it, a good visual, it's like a piece of dynamite, you know, like a stick of dynamite. So you add a stick of dynamite here, you light it, and boom, you punch a hole through the barrier. And what people don't realize is, and what most people do, is they just bang their head against the wall. And eventually, you bang your head against the wall long enough, you're going to be brain dead. So, for example, people go, Ty, I'm going to this networking event. Well, networking events sometimes are good, sometimes are horrible. A lot of times networking events you go to are just everybody who's at the same level all networking with each other, which there is a certain value to that. But you still haven't broken through the wall to the people who really have the access that you need if you want to do something big in life. So interruption hooks. It's a whole conversation. I'm going to give one here in a couple days. I'm going to do a talk. I'm going to put a link down here if you want to see a full talk on this. I'm 5 or 6 minutes in, so I got 3 things I want to give you now. If you want to hear all of them, click the link. It's free. You can listen in on my full talk. But here's just to give you some concrete examples of interruption hooks that are duds. They don't work. You light the dynamite and no hole is created to get past this wall of separation. For example, you say to somebody, you go, hey, I want to tell you my business idea. Oh, holy shit. Let me tell you what that does, because I get that a lot. I get that hundreds of times a day. It makes me want to retreat further back. You go to, let's say you're an actor, an actress, or a writer. You go, ooh, I want you to read my script. Holy shit, these people are the people that you need to read your script. First of all, the louder you say that, the faster they run. So what you have to do is you have to, and this is number 2, okay, that I'm going to get to today. You have to, and this is a little more advanced, okay? So I'll give you if you're an academic and you like intellectual stuff, I'll give you a little more intellectual, I call this ontological, sorry. All right. So ontology, you may have studied this. Okay? Ontology. There we go. Okay. So the ontological story in people's head. So philosophers would use this word if you want to, I remember it in just simple terms, story in the head. So all humans, every one of them are continually running a movie theater projection in their memories, in their consciousness, okay? So, for example, that's why, for example, 2 people can be born in the ghetto and one person rises out of it and their identical twin doesn't. Why? Because one person played a story out in their head, for example, that they're stuck forever, and the other person plays a story out that, no, I'm going to take this bad hand that I was dealt and I'm going to use it as fuel and motivation, and they become the next Oprah Winfrey or whatever, right? So, in the same way, whoever you're trying to reach, millionaires, billionaires, celebrities, powerful people, they have a story in their head. And if you try to push your story on their story, they retreat behind the wall. So going back to this dynamite, this exploding, this interruption hook, it has to align with the story already in their head. I'll give you an example, like real simple one. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, what's a story? If you want to hang out with Arnold Schwarzenegger, talk to him, what's a story already in his head? Well, you do a little research. He loves cigars. Okay? So you connect with him. Instead of going, hey, Arnold, will you blankety blank? Will you help me do this, that, and other? Help me be a movie star like you? Or that he's going to retreat from that. You pop right in to the story that's in their head. You pop in right here. And then you participate in a story they were already playing. And what happens is, this is very subtle. And Voltaire, the famous French philosopher, he said, it's not enough to conquer, sometimes you have to seduce. So this is a seduction state that you're now operating in. Because the definition of seduction in this case is they were already gonna do it, or they think they were already going to do it of their own volition, of their own choice. So if Arnold Schwarzenegger, you start talking about cigars, he probably was already thinking about cigars. So you will 10x the odds. Now, nothing always works, but if you understand ontology and the story inside people's head, this requires research. And I can tell you time after time. The other day, I was, a week or two ago, I was at a dinner with the CEO of Bugatti, and he was also the CEO of Ferrari. And so that brings me to the third thing. How did I connect with a person like that? Well, the third thing is that I call this, I developed this back a long time ago when I had no money and I was trying to make some money. And I call it the phone speaker mute. Okay? So what you do, okay, you may have heard of this in other terms. Sometimes people call this is a shit pen. Why do we have this pen? Some people call this, there we go. Some people call this active listening, but I feel like that's such a cliche word, I won't remember it. I always try to reframe phrases. So active listening, forget that. What I would do, so one of my first businesses was in financial planning, okay? Investing, insurance, helping people plan. I worked for GE Capital, GE Financials, biggest company in the world back then. And what I did was I had a website. I gave people cool, it was like 12 secrets. And I had these cool little tips for people. And then people would fill out a form and ask me to call them. It was a lead generation business. So these people would call me, and instead of me cold calling people, now they were requesting me to call them. So what I would do is get on the phone with them, and this is the exact line. If you want to know a line that works like magic, assuming they asked to be called first, okay? So what you do is you get on the phone, you go, hey, it's Ty. I got a little request that you wanted to talk to me. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're trying to do, and I'll see if I can help. Now I'm going to dissect that little phrase because it's more powerful than it seems. And then I would take the phone, put it on speaker, and press simultaneously the mute button. And see, that forced me then